first oil change, first one I've done on my Scout 60. Had the dealer do the 500-mile break-in service. I'm at a little over 3,500, and I'm going to change the oil. Owner's manual says 10,000. I live in the dirt, so I'm going to change it early. What I have here is the Indian Scout oil change kit that I picked up at my dealer. Ran me about 75 bucks. But in the owner's manual it says don't change oil brands, so I'm sticking with this so that I don't void my warranty. They give you 4 quarts of 15 W60 full synthetic motor oil, Indian branded, and this Polaris oil filter, part 2520799, comes in the kit, along with 2 crush washers that are used to seal the 2 drain plugs. Okay, going under the left side of the bike, there are 2 drain plugs. There's the rear drain plug right here, and then the front drain plug right here. They take a 6mm Allen wrench to undo. And then moving up the bike behind the horn here, there's the air filter, oil filter. There's the oil filter, not air filter. Those were a little tighter than I thought, so it needed a little bit of extra leverage with my Allen wrench. I keep losing bits. If you're using the bits that'll go in a socket, be careful, they'll fall out in your yard. That doesn't look as bad. But front now is draining, and there's my drain plug. If I reach back in here to the rear drain plug, I'll get it off. Ooh, and it's gushing. And there's the washer, which is now in the oil pan. And so now they are draining, mostly out of the rear. Okay, so again, with my son to stabilize it, the owner's manual says that the bike needs to be fully upright for proper drainage. As you can see, it's draining right now, leaning on the side stand. But if I lift it to where it's upright, the drain stops. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the side stand until that stops coming out. And then I'll straighten it up a couple more times just to make sure that we've got everything. Yeah, oil's actually got a nice little amber color to it. I probably could have waited a couple thousand miles. Looked a lot dirtier when I checked it on the dipstick. See that right there? That little scuff mark where the rubber's gone away from the peg? That's what happens when you scrape a peg. I have to do something right now. We're waiting for the oil to drain. It's like watching paint dry. Alright, so I had heard and read that it might be necessary to take the horn off to get the oil filter off, but I was able to get this socket on there that I had for my wife's motorcycle. It's just a little too big for this filter, so I wrapped a paper towel in there and it just came right off. So did not have to take off the horn to do it, which is a good thing because I didn't want to turn all the nuts that I needed to do that. But that's the oil filter comes off. It's just right, let me show you where it's at. Right under here, this is the horn. And right behind the horn, that's where the oil filter goes. Have the new oil filter here. Before we do it, I'm going to get a little bit of oil on my finger. I'm going to rub it around the gasket so that it gets a good seal. Spinning the new oil filter on. Owner's manual says let it get snug and then go about another 3/4 to full turn. And so I've got the brand new washers. I'll put those back on the drain plugs before the drain plugs go on. Indian dealer told me these are crush washers, so even if they look okay, when you take them off they need to go away because they're not going to seal right when you get them tight. So just take the Allen wrench back out and tighten the drain plugs back up. Owner's manual specifies 15 foot-pounds of torque. So now I'm going to move around over to the right side of the motorcycle. I'm going to take out the dipstick, which it should now say is totally empty. Line up my filter, my funnel, and now I'm ready to put in some oil. I'm using just my plain Jane funnel right now, and I'm going to be putting in 3 quarts of oil. You can see how much cleaner this oil is than what came out. The owner's manual says put in between 3 and 4 quarts. I've also read that it is 3 quarts 12 ounces. So I am going to put in 3 full quarts, and then I'm going to measure 12 ounces and check the level. Okay, what we're doing now is measuring out 12 ounces of oil. Right there, 12 ounces. Set the quart down and let it flow, and in it goes. Gives you a real good shot of what the oil looks like when it's new. And after we put in the rest of that oil, start it up, stand her up level, make sure it's not over full, make sure it's full enough, let it run for a little bit, make sure there's no leaks, and we're done.